Okay, hello. Just quickly checking on my phone that the audio is actually streaming to YouTube. So give me a second. While we do that, why don't you say hello, Rock and Corey?
So then I said, that's a
Hey.
big banana.
Yeah, audio works. So today, if you're watching this live or as a playback, we are going to be ranking every Doctor Who story out of 10. We've done a part 1, which we've done for the Eccleston and the Tennant era. This is going to be part 2, where we do the Matt Smith era. If you're watching live, feel free to join us along in chat. And if you're watching on the replay, maybe just let us know your top 10 favourite, or just rank the individual series out of 10. So, before we start, let's start with Rock. What are kind of your opinions on the Matt Smith era?
You sure you want to
Oh no,
know?
I'm beginning to become less sure.
Opinion very mediocre. Very mediocre.
As a whole, or just like
In
certain
my opinion,
seasons?
feel as a whole, I feel like it just not as good as it could have been. I
Like,
feel like the
do you
story
think
arcs
almost
felt
like
very jumbled.
if Series 11 was an era?
Oh no, I prefer season 11 to this.
Wow. I think
Season
an issue
11,
that I have with the Matt Smith era is that, it's hello, Mr. Scarlo, is that every episode is so different, but every season is the same. It's just the same stuff, just different template. Yeah.
mm-hmm.
What do you think, Corey?
But yeah, what about you, Corey?
Uh, well, but, um, I the middle of it, Series 6 is best, but the rest I do like quite a bit.
Hello, can you hear me?
You see, like I
Um,
feel like
yeah,
I can hear
Okay,
you.
good.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, go on, Rock.
I feel like for me, if you were to make something like a sandwich but not include any flavor, that would be the whole Matt Smith era because it's basically like crack is a bread, okay. Then you have no flavor in between, which was season 7 and 6. Time of the Doctor, which tries to say all the
Mm.
arcs went together all along, and we totally didn't think about this last minute.
Yeah, Matt Smith more like.
It's the same
Mm.
problem I had with
Mm.
Peter Capaldi's era, but we ain't talking about him yet, so.
Um, so we might as well start ranking. The 11th hour out of 10. We'll go. We might as well go in order like each time. So who's gonna go first, second, and last?
I can go first if that's okay.
Okay, I'll go. Well, yeah, because you seem to not so like it. I'm just like that. See,
I don't mind when I go.
I'll go middle. Corey, you go last.
Okay.
Okay, so Rock, off you go.
I give 11th Hour a solid. I give 11th Hour a solid 7.
I don't know why I thought you were gonna say one. I was like, oh, this is gonna be a fucking long night.
The
7.
reason why I do that is because I feel like it's a strong start, and like it's not the best start as it could have been. It's one of the best New Who starting episodes. Like I feel like it's the second best
I'm gonna.
out of the New Who
Yeah, it's not the best.
starting episodes. Um, Mainly because it just gets going straight away,
What would you
and
say
it
is?
doesn't like do the whole "I'm going to take a nap because I just regenerated"
Yeah, that's true. It
sort of
doesn't
thing.
do that. I'm gonna also give it a 7 for literally the same reasons. It's good for all of that, but it's still not the best one. What about you, Corey?
Hmm.
Um, I think I'd give it an 8. So because I have very similar reasons to you as well. Um, not a massively like complex episode, which is good for a like
An opener.
first.
Hmm.
What would you say
Because
for
yeah,
the beast
just
below?
got a new.
Hello, Josh.
Beast Below has got to be a solid 5.
Same.
Good for a starting episode for a companion, but it does the whole thing about I'm going to kill a race of alien species. No, you're not, Doctor. Touch the Queen a little bit.
I agree. 5.
Tell me that is not the plot. Tell me that is
It
not.
was definitely, I think,
I,
one of the.
I don't recall Amy doing that, but sure.
I also think it was one of the episodes that like got the budget. It had like a lower budget than other ones.
Mm-hmm.
So Corey, what would you give that? Because I give it same as Rock, a solid 5.
Yeah, I'd probably go a 5 or a 6 as well. I'll go 5 as well with you guys.
What's after that? It's
Good. It's not bad.
it's the next
Victory of
episode,
Daleks.
but yeah. Okay, Victory of the Daleks. I'm gonna go for.
Yeah, Victory.
You hate it.
Excuse me. No. I never get my rating. I go first, bitch. Well, as high as that is the whole. Yeah, you go on. You go on.
I think it's like a good Dalek story, and the paradigms are like one of my favorite Daleks. The reason I'm not is because we didn't see them a lot. I'm gonna give it a 7, but I think it could. Actually, no, I'm gonna give it a 6, a really strong 6. But it could be a lot higher if we saw the paradigm Daleks more. Then I think it would go up like really high. If it was almost like that's the genesis of them. If we had if we still had the paradigm Daleks now, and they just fully replaced the Daleks till like Chibnall's bringing like these new ones in, then it could even be like a 9. But as episodes go, it's just a 6.
I'm gonna give it a 3. Just I feel like World War II is done a lot in the Doctor Who universe. In New Who at least.
I would have liked it in like the Cold War or something.
Like it feels like it's the same episode of. Nah, I would say
We'll get to that episode later.
I would have this episode to have been in, let's say, Waterloo or something like that. Like it could be modified to be in Waterloo, and it just, or even the independence of America, whatever it's called. The one with Americans fought the British. We never learned about it in because apparently school only teaches you about World War Two, and nowadays only World War Two, nothing else.
Where is it? Are you done?
Yeah, I'm
Okay. I think I'd give it a 6. So it's not the best Dalek episode of the modern era, but I do think it's solid and it a bit underrated. I wouldn't say that it's like massively underrated, and it's the amazing. It's not as bad as some people say.
Yeah, but also it is.
I
It is also not as good as some people say.
I understand that.
What would
Yeah.
you say for the next one?
Can I just ask before we do?
Yeah.
It's 2-part. Are we doing 2-parters at the same as the same rate? Like just
Yeah.
Are we doing like
we'll do 2 parts
2-parters as
story.
2 different
Actually, no, Corey, didn't we do them separately last time?
as one? That's going to really hinder Time of the Angels for me.
But I think we did them separately,
No,
and
yeah,
then
we did them separately. Yeah.
yeah, I think
Okay.
we did separately.
So what comes first? Time of the
Okay,
Angels.
so the Angels. Time of the Angels. Yeah. 10.
Um.
It is honestly a solid Angel story. It brings up more lore of them and like makes them more interesting than in just moo woo screwy. It gives them more lore, more diversity as a villain, and in my opinion, it set amazing story.
I'm
And
going to give.
this was an episode which I thought, fuck yeah, that's the Doctor.
I'm gonna give. Also, I don't know if you knew this, but you know this Angel two-parter. It was actually the first one that Matt
Mhm.
Smith filmed as the Doctor, because Moffat didn't basically want. Because you know, when you look at how Ten acted in Christmas Invasion compared to how he acts in, let's say, what's like an
Season
episode?
2.
From when you see him in Christmas Invasion to when you see how he acts like like a quite later in the Sideman story, yeah, in series 2,
The monsters.
it's completely different. It's so different, and Moffat didn't want it to be like the first episode with the Doctor that you see is like, you know, it's not really him and he's not really in the role properly. He's not adjusted to it. But then doing episode like 3 or 4 first means he can get that character done there. So then when he records episode 1, he knows the character. He's going to do it really well. And then the audience know the character as well by the time they get to the Angel story. So if he's not acting it to how he normally would be, like he did in episode 1, 2, and
Okay.
3, then it's like a little bit evened out.
That is just extremely stupid.
Why?
Like, honestly, because hear me out. If you want to find like the right actor character Doctor of you, you want you want empathetic acting to find the character while you're in the first episode where the Doctor's trying to find himself again. Like seriously, like the fact that the lighting in 11th Hour isn't exactly how they light him in any other episode of his. But I feel like it's just a dumb move because, like, for example, 11th Hour, he's like, "What did I see? I saw," and we see like little flashing like glory, like being like taking pictures of and shit. Like, yeah,
I think it's because
that appears
after Tennant, not even with the
a
writing
lot.
of how the Doctor acts, but I think with the new actor after Tennant, they needed to make sure the new actor was comfortable and well in the already far into the role when you first saw him to make sure it worked after Tennant's success. I give
I
it
just
I
feel
give the
like
story an 8, by the way. Or the episode, because
I just feel like this story, for example, like for Amy, for example, the like starting point for her as well. Like, you know. But anyway, carry on.
I give it an 8 because it's a good story, but it falls into the trap a few two-parters do, which is kind of the point of some of them, is that it spends the entire episode setting up the second part. And nothing really happens except the cliffhanger, and then the 2 minutes where Amy gets stuck in the room. That's literally it. But it is good still, and that's why I give it an 8. What would you give it, Corey? Corey, are you alive?
Wait, I zoned out. What?
Yeah.
I am. Yeah. The first part, I think I'd an 8. 'Cause I do really enjoy it.
Yeah, I give it an 8 as well.
I always. It's just.
It's a good story and it's a good first
I
part.
like the concept of it, and so,
What would you give?
and the
part
cliffhanger
2?
at the end is good as
Yeah,
well.
the cliffhanger is probably one of the best. What would you give part 2?
until Glick, haha. Part 2, okay. I'm going to say everything I like about this episode before I get onto my rating.
Oh no.
Story, Liver is amazing in this story. Like, honestly, like, Liver really comes into her own in the second part. And as someone who is important again, I really like that setup, and I love how it teases her next adventure. I'm going to give it a 2
Fuck.
because of the one. You all know the one. Horrible ending to an episode.
Moffat literally said he
Like-
couldn't help himself.
Oh
Literally.
yeah.
Like, that's the problem.
Sorry, it
If he
took me a
couldn't help
minute there.
himself, like, what the fuck's wrong with him? Scene. Like,
I'm gonna give it
it.
a 7. No, I'm gonna give it a 6.
It just ruined the story for me. But yeah. Why did you give it a 6?
I give it a 6 because, you know, it good at how the not necessarily how the episode ends, but how the story. It leads into next episode, Vampires in Venice. It also leads into the next story with River. And I just think it's a good way. It's good. I like the forest idea. I like how she has to move around without her eyes. I like how they solve it of like sucking them into the crack. It builds up more story arc stuff. It's good. That's why I like it. But then there's that ending. What about you, Gary?
I think I'd give it a 7. For most of the same reasons that you gave it a 6. But then yeah, I just,
Next is Vampires in
I mean, and
Venice.
the ending is a bit odd.
Yeah, the ending is
But,
very
yeah.
odd. It's random as well.
It's odd. Part of me does find it a little bit funny,
Corey,
just
you're gonna
because
be
that she
cancelled.
later finds out that he's his mother-in-law. But yeah. No,
The thing is,
I
yeah,
don't find it
that's
funny
it.
for that. I find it funny. Well, that's why I find it funny.
No, it would have been funny
But, like,
after
at the same time, it's just
episode
horrible.
ends. It's like, if you've
It's
been
horrible
infected by
writing.
any of these,
No, like, it ruins Amy. It ruins Amy for me.
why?
Like, honestly. I couldn't like Amy at all for any other show anymore
Why couldn't you just forget that scene?
because of that scene.
Why couldn't you just forget the scene? It doesn't
Because-
have any like meaning.
Oh,
for
hey,
it.
I'm Jimmy Savile. I touched kids, but hey, I didn't do that in the future. Do you see the problem
I
here?
think we should.
Yeah, let's move on
Move
to
away,
Vampires
please.
of Venice.
Vampires of Venice is a 6.
Just because we are on a YouTube live stream, remember?
Vampires of
Venice is a
Venice
6.
is also a no, it's a 7 for me. It's a 7.
It brings Rory into it, and I love Rory. He's just such a soul and so forgiving as well, which is what Amy doesn't deserve.
Amy doesn't deserve Rory. I just want to say that.
That is true.
I'm giving it a 7 because the set's really good, the music's fantastic, the plot of the woman, like, you know, also being the last of her kind, and the doctor, and then kind of having that conversation about like, is what she's doing is right or not, and then the ending scene of him in the rain trying to stop it is really good, and I like the ending with the silence little thing again as well. And it's almost like a mini cliffhanger, which is kind of cool. That's why, yeah, it's a good episode. That's why it's 7. What about you, Corey?
What do you have? I think I'd go 7 again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's after that episode?
Good
Isn't that
story.
the,
It's got a good plot.
Yeah, it does have a good plot.
It,
And
I
it's paced
believe
really
it's
well.
yeah, but it doesn't. From what I remember, it doesn't really drag at any point. So
Yeah,
It moves on quite quick from each little thing.
it's just a natural like just slow burn story,
Mm.
in my opinion. Like it doesn't go up. It doesn't good story.
What's next? Isn't that
Uh,
Cold Blood?
I think it's
yeah.
was it Cold
No,
Blood or it's not
Amy's choice. Amy's choice is before that.
Yeah, then it's Hungry Earth and Cold Blood.
Oh yeah. Okay, so Amy's choice. 8.
Let
Yeah.
me get thing up.
Yeah, so Amy's choice. I'm gonna sum up this episode for you. Who do I choose for my travel? I travel with the thing should be obvious, love. It should be obvious. Yeah, you have sex with a Dream Lord. That's one. You have sex with the guy. You have sex with Dream Lord. But yeah, a 2. Lots of Amy-centric stories will be getting a 2, or like a lower.
I'm gonna give it an 8. I like the plot. I like the idea. The acting's good. I do like the set of the frozen TARDIS, and that probably would have taken ages to make, and ages to clear up as well. I like the idea that it's not. And also, it's good for the audience because they, especially first time watching it, the audience have to kind of guess what world it is and like try and suss little bits out. Just literally, they are in the same exact position almost as in deciding at least as the characters. And I like the idea that she only chooses the other one when Rory dies in the real world. And I like the idea again of it being the Doctor's bad dream and it being like all of it's a dream, both of them. That's cool.
Yeah, I also feel like this episode personally, I feel like it sets up like the Eternals really well as well, or brings them into the new series, which are also mentioned in Can You Hear Me? I'm guessing the Dream Lord is an Eternal.
Yeah.
I'm just guessing that.
I mean, he is. He's like a different dimensional thing, isn't he?
Yeah. So, and this episode did remind me of Celestial Toymaker a bit.
Just really quickly, while we're talking about Eternals, would the Nightmare Man from Sarah Jane Adventures is also an Eternal?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good.
Eternals get mentioned in Army of Ghosts as well.
Yeah, the Eternals called it the Howling. That's what they said about the Void.
Yeah.
We're so nerdy. We just picked up a line. All right.
So it just popped into my head. I was
What
just
would you rate it, Corey?
I think I'd go 7. It's the very good. It's different as well. Like it's not really something or it just makes it stand out with the stories. So it hasn't been done. It wasn't done before, and it hasn't been done since as well. So
Yeah, it also that hasn't been done before at all.
next is Hungry Earth.
So Corey, check your DMs.
Let's see. The fuck? What's happened? What?
Did you check? Brock, why don't you start talking about the next episode really quick? I'll add them and see what happens.
Hungry Earth.
I love. Can I just say really quick? I love this two-parter. Just before we actually get into it,
I also really
it's great. I wish
like
Chibnall.
it.
This is
Some
why I
people
was
on
excited
this
for the Chibnall
reason
era, but he just
think
hasn't
that-
given anything like it.
thing is, what me, like after watching Doctor Who and Silurians, I do see a lot of similarities here. However, I can't help but much joy when I watch this two-parter. So Hungry Earth is getting an 8. Just
Hungry Earth for me is also getting an 8 because I
Mm,
love the sets are cool, the plot's cool. I'm gonna lower it down by 1. I'm gonna give it a 7. Sets are cool, plot's cool. The makeover for the Silurians is amazing, like from classic to new. I like the idea that she poisoned one of them and now they're slowly dying and she knows what one's gonna kill first. Um, the cliffhanger of the Doctor and Nazarene going down is really nice. The VFX for that all is really great. I think it's a good use. I like it when the TARDIS is used in the story and like they revisit it like in the middle of it and it's not just there at the beginning and maybe at the end. So I really like how they go in it, like it quite a lot. Well, I mean, again, and I do like the fact of losing Amy. I like how Raw reacts. I like how they all go in the church, and I love the scene where like they have 10 minutes to like transfer and draw out all the sound. That's cool. So it gets a 7. It doesn't get an 8 because again I feel like it could have done a little bit more action with the Silurians. So what would you say, Corey?
trying and decide. You see, I'm the 7 again, but then I think I'm gonna go 7. Because it is a really good story. And I like the whole idea of like all present in the second part, but in both episodes, I like the whole idea of like, oh well, the Silurians were there first,
Yeah, I do like it.
so
Yeah, Silurians are there
but should
first.
they like be? Do they have like the
The right.
right to like just take over and kick out kind of thing?
What would you say for part 2, Rock?
I would say is a. I'm just debating better or worse than Hungry Earth. I'll give it a 7, just because I feel like it falls into the many tropes that a two-parter usually goes into. That the first part is always then the conclusion, which is kind of upsetting. But yeah,
I agree with you, and that's also the same reason I'm giving it a 7. So what about you then, Corey?
Mm, I would actually think I was debating whether to give it higher just for the end of it, but I think I'll keep it the 75 again. The main input me possibly giving it higher was, I said, the ending because it was
It was a shocking ending because people thought that would actually been the end of him.
yeah.
Um, what's after this? It's Vincent and the Doctor, isn't it?
Hang on. Next is Vincent and the Doctor.
Right,
Yeah.
Rock. Now let's see what you think about this one. Rock.
Has he died?
I think he's died.
I think
We
he's died.
might as well start with you,
I'm
Corey.
on mute.
Oh,
Just give me a
Why
5
why
minutes.
don't you go?
okay, let's start. Alright. So Vincent and
Oh
the
no,
Doctor. Haven't seen it in a little
you go
while.
and then
I saw it last year. Like once. I think I saw it like a few days before or after the actual watch along. It is really good. It's not a 10 out of 10 for me, but it is probably easier. It's a solid, either a really strong 8 or like I'll be nice. I'll call it a 9 out of 10. It's a good plot. I like the fact that like the monsters only he can see. There's some good scary moments. A lot of funny moments, and there's some good sad moments. The pacing is perfect. I think there's no real massive climb then massive drop. It's just like slow climb, slow little drop, slow climb, slow little drop. and obviously the music's great, VFX are great. Just the actual script is really. I think it plays on all the emotions. So yeah, that's why I'm going to give it a 9. But it's not a 10 because there could have been a little bit more.
Yeah. I
Okay.
think I'd give it a 9 as well. It's very good. It's a very I think it's a very like emotional episode, especially towards the end, and it Vincent as a character in this is a very strong character. Yeah. So yeah, I'd give it an 8.
Yeah. I give it a 6.
All right.
Sorry, but yeah, carry on.
I see what was trying to, and I understand why and how they tried to pull this off.
Hmm.
Something as big as depression, which is what they were trying to come across as, or mental illness, for example. I was for this. I feel like it's such a big thing. It just needed more time than 45 minutes. The episode for me, and I also feel like the artist to see the future is nice, but
Yeah.
it just felt like it like it. How do I put this? It felt unneeded.
Filler.
Nowhere else has the Doctor done this. Yeah, it just felt unneeded. So unneeded. And to do. It just didn't. It. I see how hard it was trying. That's the thing. I trying, but good episodes don't need to try.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Good do it. Good episodes know exactly how to do these things. But it because I haven't seen these episodes in a while. Let's put it that way. But yeah, that's my thought. Anyway, on to the Roger.
Wow. You might be surprised. I'm gonna go for an 8. I'm joking. I'm going for a 7.
I was gonna go similar, so I'm gonna go 7.5.
Do you know what? I'll go 7.5 as well. The set's
You
pretty
all
cool,
have
yeah.
no taste.
What do you mean we have no taste?
It's a hate.
It's funny, and there's some good moments in it. The plot's cool. The
Ralph
bits of
Roberts,
Amy and the TARDIS is cool.
Ja-
It's good how it
James
ends.
Corbin. James Corbin, horrible person.
Gordon,
Hate him.
okay.
Hate James Corbin. Literally, like, I wish I was one of the people who were upstairs in the top bunk, whatever it was, just so I could invite James Corbin up and push him back down. That is how much I hate James Corbin. And when I have to Corbin, it hurts. It hurts, like in my little heart. But other than it was a comic and it was written as a David Tennant story with Mickey, it would have worked better as a David Tennant story. That's all I'm gonna say.
It would have also
Or
worked along
hell,
with David Tennant's story with Mickey
hey.
because, like, him and the TARDIS,
Yeah?
because he's quite good with computers and stuff, so it would be fun to see him try it.
Hear me out, okay? You put this story before Vampires of Venice. Like, let's say you put it as episode 4, okay? Therefore, this story could have been a Doctor and Rory episode. and therefore my problems are solved. It makes sense on why he's doing
But it makes more problems because then
it.
vampires in
A
Venice,
random person, hi.
vampires in Venice without Rory.
No, no. Like I'm saying, you could put it. For example, okay, you put this is an episode order. You do 11th hour, Beast Below, and the three of the Daleks. Then you put Roger. Then you put the Angel to Vampires of Venice. Then you put the Silurian two-parter, Vincent and the Doctor, and then did I miss one? Did I miss one? No, did I? Hold on, I have counted wrong. I think. Have I counted wrong? 3, 4, 2.
No, but no,
Two.
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
I think I've. Yeah, I'm just trying to go through it in my head. But yeah. Oh yeah, Amy's Choice, that's
So what's the next
what,
episode?
that's
The
what I
next
forgot.
episode is
That's
Pandora
what.
Opens.
Andorka opens.
It's gonna be an 8 out of 10 for me
Yeah.
because the cliffhanger is excellent. The build up to the Pandora opening and us thinking that something's inside it is cool. The Words in War speech is really good. The music's really good. All of the plot of the returning characters like Rory, River is really good too. It's nice to see all the aliens back, and it's good to see that like 11 really properly not in control. So that's why it's an 8 for me.
I think I'd very high 9, like possibly pushing a 10. Really like it. Again, you said, and also I still remember it when it aired, and I did find it quite emotional, I have to say.
What about you, Rock? What would you rate the Pandora opens?
Yeah.
I have to agree with Corey. It's definitely a high 9. The everything a Doctor episode should be. And the fact that it's a finale, and we've always been told in a finale, the world's gonna end. Oh my god, this is an episode that the world is actually ended. Like,
Yeah, true.
the Doctor
They've done it.
loses in this episode, when you think about it. This is the episode of Doctor Who because of the second part. But this is an episode where, like, if this was a final ever episode of the Doctor Who series or universe, this would be the episode to end it on.
Okay.
Like, Jesus, the Doctor world ends. Like, that's disturbing. And amazingly, like, bravo, Stephen Moffat there. Bravo.
What about part 2, The Big Bang? I'm gonna give this one a 10.
Wait. But before we say anything else, I want to clear up. The reason that I found it quite emotional when I was like 8 years old watching it for the first time was because of Matt Smith, and then that cliffhanger ending happened. So it was like, yeah. We can move on now.
Yeah.
Because it was like, yeah.
Yeah.
The Big Bang.
Right. Big Bang 10 for me.
It's. How's it 10?
It's 10 because it's a really good ending. It's good to see that it's good to see the little bit with the Doctor going back. The ending's good when Amy remembers the Doctor. I like the bit of you seeing the Doctors die early. The bits of River's good. The little funny plot twist at the beginning that Amy's in there. Rory has to wait and he's got the fez and the hat and stuff. That's funny. I like seeing that all the stars have gone out and only Amelia can remember. It's a nice tie back to the beginning. That's also Amelia. It sets up the next series quite well in a way. Like the ending of that's pretty good. Like the actual ending of them going into the TARDIS, saying goodbye. Yeah, that's why it's a 10. And I just really think the music and everything about it is good.
I think I'd give it a 7.5 because I do think it's
What about you, Rock?
Hmm. I'm gonna give this episode a 5. I'm gonna say.
Mm-hmm.
Now the reason why I'm giving it a 5, in my opinion, nothing could live to the hype that we got in Pandora Opens. And I'm just gonna say this again, like something you follow through. You follow with anything you do. I'm gonna kill off the companion. Fuck, she's alive. It just made it makes rewatches of Pandora Opens not a 10 out of 10. If that makes sense, it tried it main problem with Stephen Moffat's era in just a nutshell is the fact that really good first parters, and then he's like, "Oh fuck, how do I end this?"
Yeah.
Oh,
okay. Wait,
Corey's going back.
did you hear any of what I
No.
said?
No, we didn't.
Oh, I've just that I gave it a an 8. I just spent like a whole minute and a half talking to myself. I've just realised. Now I'm sad.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Would you like to say it
Okay.
again, or?
Basically, I just strong episode, but I think it lets down the first part, and it's not the best finale out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can move on now.
The next episode.
I'm not saying it all again. I'll
I
just.
haven't seen.
That's a
I can
summary.
remember almost nothing about it.
Same.
Okay. Below. Okay. I'm about to fill you in. Okay. I'm gonna keep doing this thing because I know. So, A Christmas Carol. It's a Moffat Christmas episode. It has to be light and fluffy because it's Christmas. But yeah, Ebenezer Scrooge is I don't want it to be Snook as the fish, and it's like we want our stuff, and then we find out that the Doctor's been making visits to young when he's a child. Sounds creepy, I know, but yeah, he's doing that. And then a little kid, Kazlan, Ebenezer guy, and then since she's frozen or some shit, she might die when she's not being frozen enough. Plot: there's a shark in it. Woo.
Shark.
4.
I literally haven't seen it enough to possibly rank. I go to my brain to try and find something to make a number. There's nothing there, so I can't rank this one. What about you, Corey? Or have you died again?
He's gone.
I think he's died.
Yay! Yay!
Better. What's first? Is
Actually, I think you'll find that it's Death of the Doctor first.
No. That's the Series 6 opener, Death of the Doctor, isn't it?
Yeah, Death of the Doctor is the Sarah Jane episode with Matt Smith.
Oh, no. Fine. Well, rank that as a story because he's only really in the, he's only really in the second part. Okay,
It's a 10.
as a story, it's a
Okay, I have no idea what is going
As a
on with
story-
my internet
As a
right now.
story, it's a 10. We're talking about the Sarah
We're talking
Jane
about
episode
Death
for now because
of the Doctor. We're talking about the Sarah Jane Adventures story, Death of the Doctor. I thought that's too cool.
Yeah, I don't know why that's happened. But wait, did you give a rating for Christmas Carol?
because I couldn't.
Yeah, I gave it 4.
I can't think of a number.
It's been a while since I watched it as well. I think I'm gonna throw a 6 out there.
Well, I think of it and no number
Okay.
comes. So. Right then, is next.
The Impossible Astronaut.
Oh yeah, Impossible Astronaut. Yay! Amazing setup for the arc of this season. As an episode, this is a really good Easter episode to watch. Like watching this, like on Easter weekend, being like, "Oh my god, Doctor Who's back! Oh my god, and all that stuff." Because when you're a kid, Doctor Who coming back on Easter, like, amazing. But yeah, I'm gonna give this 7. Sets up the plot nicely. I really like the image of her, like Buller.
I'm also going to give it a 7. 7 for me too. Right, you, Corey.
The first number that came to my head was 8.
Shame on you. Shame on you.
I do think a strong opener.
You always say 7s and I said 8. You know what? Get out. I don't want to talk to you anymore. You have betrayed the number 7. What's part 2?
Oh well. Day of the Moon.
Day of the Moon.
6.
4.
I'd go 7.
Actually,
I really like the whole like I like the whole they're like in different places. Trying to find information about the silence.
I like the fact they're in different places, but that's about it. The ending speech is kind of cool, but
I agree. I also feel like that this episode
could have done a lot.
It
more.
had a lot to do.
Yeah, it should have been a 3-parter. Really.
Yeah.
I'll agree with that.
And also, I still want to know exactly how the fuck this live that shot. Like, it's never explained. Never.
I changed mine to a 6.5, but yeah.
Like surviving and breathing in body bags. Like, not being. I feel like if you put a bag over your head, you.
Well, I mean, Corey, I nearly choked to death earlier, didn't I?
Yeah, you nearly choked on water, so that takes some fucking level dumbassery. It's Curse of Black Spot.
What's next? Curse of the Black Spot, did you say? Okay, I'm gonna give that one a 7.
Not gonna lie.
I was thinking 6.
I was thinking of 3.
Wow.
I'm getting used to this now.
I'm just saying.
I think it's
so dull.
underrated.
I think it's underrated. It's not overrated, but it's underrated.
Yeah, it's not like the best episode, but it should get more credit than it does. Gets like I think it's probably underrated between the series, which is very strong, and the next episode, which we'll go on to in a minute.
What's the next
Are we going on to that now?
Okay, talk about more. Next episode is Doctor's Wife.
Yeah.
7.
It's 2.
Why? Why is it a 2?
I'll give it a 7 as well.
Why is
Okay.
it a 2?
Okay.
Right.
I will go in that. So, I feel like the human TARDIS is just not fun. Like,
Getting cancelled.
no, I know. Hear me out. No, I feel like it's just not fun
Speciesist. You are speciesist.
having a character literally trying to kiss another character without consent. I find that fun. I do not like that. Again, the same reason why I don't like Flesh of Stone. And I find that there's a lot of that in this era. I feel like the TARDIS, but in my eyes, when I'm watching that, that's a random woman. That is a random woman. Like, being used by some. Like, it's just not fun to watch. In my opinion, it drags. I cannot feel anything for Rory or Amy. They're trapped in the little overplot. And the only thing I like
it does
is the
drag
fact
at
that
times,
there
it does
could be
drag
more
at
Time
times.
Lords out there. But then again, that plot line is just like, oh, they're being eaten. But it doesn't. But at the end of the episode, yeah, they're not like, wait, there could still be more out there. It's like you could have done something more hope to the Doctor that he might not be the last one.
I think it's a really strong episode, hence why I gave it a 7. But I do think it is a little bit overrated. Yeah. Next episode is Rebel Flesh.
Rebel Flesh. 7.
I can't lie. I haven't watched this
Both
episode in
parts are
probably about
7.
4 years.
I like the idea that the
I've
Doctor
watched it
pretended.
recently.
I like the idea that the Doctor not pretended to get, like, he thought it was just a random thing, but in reality it wasn't random and he planned to go there.
In my eyes, this episode's just a 5, just because you have to really like dice this episode. I feel like,
Both
especially
parts.
the second part as well.
Both parts
Like you have to full on dissect and like analyze this episode just to really enjoy it. And it's just when you have to do that, is it really any point in just watching it?
I can't remember. I haven't watched it in a long time. Going by what I do remember enjoying it, but I know it's not fantastic. I think I'd give it a 6.
Yeah, 6 is fair. What would you say about the second part?
Second part is a 4.
Yeah, I
Okay.
do think it's
Actually, I'm gonna make the second part a 6 for me. Victory of the Daleks is Imperial said a Victory of the Daleks is rated 10 out of 10. I'll be very disappointed. Rock rated it. What did you rate it? A 2?
oh well.
I rated it a 7 or an 8. I can't remember.
I
Yeah.
think I give it a 7.
For me, so you know. But yeah, what episode are we on now?
Good Man Goes to War. I think. Yeah. Good Man Goes to War.
Okay,
So there's like 2
this
finales.
episode